So there's a story in the book of John, which is John's account of his time with Jesus when Jesus was ministering on earth. And I've read it, I don't know, maybe 150,000 times, maybe 700,000 times. I don't know. But anyway, I was listening to it the other day, and I heard a detail in the story that struck me for the first time. I'm just going to read you the story, and then I will tell you the detail that struck me that I have never noticed before. Here it is. This is John chapter 5, starting in verse 1. After this, there was a feast of the Jews, and Jesus went up to Jerusalem. Now there is in Jerusalem by the sheep gate a pool in Aramaic called Bethesda, which has 5 roofed colonnades. In these lay a multitude of individuals, blind, lame, and paralyzed. So a little background, they thought that this pool, Bethesda, had healing properties, and whatever dude was the first in the water when the water started moving would get healed. So, this place is crowded with people looking for healing, waiting for the water to stir so they could book it into the water and be the first to get the healing. So in that context, one man was there who had been an invalid for 38 years. And here's the part that struck me for the first time. I love it. When Jesus saw him lying there and knew that he had already been there a long time, he said to him, "Do you want to be healed?" And the sick man answered him, "Sir, I have no one to put me in the pool when the water is stirred up. And while I'm going, another steps down before me." And Jesus said to him, "Get up, take your bed, and walk." And at once the man was healed, and he took up his bed and walked. Now, you probably thought that the detail was something that it's not. So let me just say, I love this story. I love everything about it. I love that the dude was like, Jesus comes up to him, and he's like, "Hey, do you want to be healed?" And the guy, instead of just saying, "Yes, I want to be healed," which was Jesus's question, instead he says, "I can't, because I can't get in the water and all of these things, and I can't get to the healing, and I'm super frustrated about it." And he doesn't realize that Jesus isn't offering to help him in the water. Jesus is offering to heal him, which as soon as the guy finishes telling him sob story about why he can't, exactly what Jesus does. Jesus says, "Oh, cool, get up, pick up your bed and walk." And the man is healed. Boom, just like that. I love that. But the thing that struck me for the first time as I was listening to this story the other day was that moment when Jesus saw him. And it just says that very thing. When Jesus saw him lying there and knew he'd been there a long time, he said to him, "Do you want to be healed?" And for some reason, as I was listening to it, that just stopped me in my tracks. Of all the people laying at this pool, of all of the things that were drawing Jesus' attention, this guy didn't even have anybody to help him in the water. It's not like he had somebody to be like, "Hey, Jesus, this guy needs healing if you want to go talk to him." None of that. It's just Jesus noticing him. Jesus saw him and then heard his story, found out he'd been there a long time, asked him if he wanted to be healed, listened to his reasons for not getting healing yet. And as I was listening, I've been doing this thing where I listen to the Bible and then I ask myself, what does this story show me about the character of God? And I think that's why that just hit me. It just showed me the character of God is one of detail. He notices the things that the rest of us overlook. And it reminded me, because I've been applying these things to my life, where do I see that in my life? And it reminded me of when, I was going to say when I found God, but that's not accurate. When God found me, like Jesus did for this guy at the pool. When God noticed me as I was laying there in my invalid state, unable to find the healing that I needed, unable to find the help that I needed to get the healing, stuck in my sin and my lostness and my isolation and my anger and my anguish. I do have to say, I was 15 years old. There was a ton of angst there. There was just the normal angst, and there was extra angst from life circumstances. I was just an angsty kid. I just can't emphasize enough the internal angst that was going on in my life. And I feel like that guy at the pool, where I was just like, I don't know, I need help. I'm stuck in this. I don't know how to get help. Nobody will help me in the pool. And all these other people keep getting healing, and I'm stuck here. And just like Jesus did with this man at the pool, God said to me, "Well, get up, take up your bed and walk." And the circumstances around how he did that were friends who invited me to a small group where people, teenagers my age, talked about life and faith and these big things, and then would relate it to what God had to say about it. And it was revolutionary to me. It was like Jesus saying to me, get up, take up your bed and walk. Just these people who had real questions, real conversation around it, and then found real answers. And it was like having somebody give me that boost into the pool, except even better. It was like having somebody say to me, get up, take up your bed and walk. So I just want to say to you, just like me at 15, just like this guy at the pool, if you are in a situation where you are like, I don't have any help, nobody's there to get me in the pool, I don't have a way out of this, I don't know how to find healing, I'm stuck in this place, there's no way out, you don't have to find God in this place. God has found you and is asking you the same question he asked that beggar, same question he asked me. Do you want to be healed?